I don't like this build. I started to. I went from a good reference image. I just wasn't able to quite put it together how I wanted it to be. I don't know. I don't know how you feel, what you like to do when you get frustrated with yourself or maybe with a situation or with a friend. But one of the things that I like to do is to just get a little space, maybe go for a little walk. And I can imagine that had I been raised in an area with large farm animals like horses and donkeys and stuff, I probably would have went out and saddled up a horse and went for a ride. So that was kind of, yeah, I just needed to kind of decompress from that build and decide what is it we're gonna do with this build now. Because I want the library, it's supposed to be a library, I want the library so that I have a place for all my librarians and I can get all my enchanting books and I can replenish my gear for when I never fall into the lava. But, you know, just where do you go from here? Where do you go when you build something and then you look at it and you just think to yourself, that's really bad? Not in the, oh, I'm self-critical, so my stuff looks bad all the time, but just like objectively you look at it and you're like, I think that looks pretty bad. That I probably shouldn't put this on the internet, but I'm going to anyway, you know? So let's just go for a little walk here. I guess the other thing I would say is we've probably all done this, right? Built something that we're not proud of, made a bad call, made a bad choice. Really, what's important, I think, is what you do after this moment. You get to have your emotional reaction and be frustrated, but then what are you going to do? What do you do the next day? So here's the plan. We're gonna rip it down. And I've already started. I did that off camera. But I really don't like the roof, and I really don't like the mushroom block second floor. I don't know what I want to replace it with, but I know that the next thing to do is just to pull it apart and pull it down to the bottom layer, the first layer, which I am pretty happy with. I'm pretty happy with how that looks. So we're going to start there, and then maybe we'll be inspired. Let's talk specifics. I tried to do a new roof shape on top of the main structure of the library. I tried to do something a little different with horizontal planks going in, and yeah, it looked bad. I didn't like it. And then I also wanted to do a circular build next to it, kind of like a tower. I thought that would be fun. And I made that too big. It is way too big, and the proportion of the structure, like the main structure and the tower shape, it just bothered me to look at it. It bothered me so much that, as you can see, I just went ahead and ripped it down. Like I put it up and I looked at it and I slept on it and I came back to it the next day and I looked at it again because that's important. Sometimes you need to sleep on something and then come back and look at it the next day and make sure that you really don't like it. And I liked it even less the second day. So I pulled that thing down. I didn't really like the mushroom blocks on the second floor. It was an interesting texture, and I saw some of the hermits doing. I think I saw them do it in season 10. It might have been season 9. And so I wanted to give it a shot because I wanted kind of an off-white colored wall. But yeah, no, I don't know if it's the textures, if the texture kind of clashes with the spruce, or if it's just the color is not there. But it was just bad. Ironically, I didn't start out planning on using mushrooms blocks. I was gonna do something else, but I got the first floor done, and I thought to myself, you know what would be cool? Mushroom blocks. And so I changed scope mid-project and decided to do mushroom blocks instead. And I think that that's always kind of a risk, at least for me personally. You find yourself in that spot where you think, you know what would be cool right now? Really think about it. For me, it was definitely the wrong call to make, and I had to spend time tearing it all out. Fortunately, not too much time, because mushroom block comes down real easy. The next thing would be that I rushed it. I wanted to try to get it done fast, and so I just wasn't paying as much attention to the little pieces as I went. You know, I probably could have stopped myself earlier once I realized that it wasn't fitting the vision, you know, but I was just locked in, narrow focused, had to get all the blocks in place, wanted to see the whole structure put together, and then come back to it and do windows and stuff. But the fifth thing is I honestly just overestimated my own ability. You know, I'm not a 10-year veteran of this game. I've only been playing for maybe 4 years, generously saying 4 years. And yeah, I just kind of bit off more than I could chew, I guess. All right, so we've got it down just to the first floor, and I'm going to go ahead and move in my villagers, because that's the point, right? To have the librarians to be able to take the 3 that I already have. I have a Silk Touch, a Mending, and a Sharpness 5, and put them all in one spot, and then get about 17-ish more to kind of take care of all of the basic enchantments that you're going to want on gear, right? Protection, Unbreaking, Mending, Silk Touch, Efficiency, Respiration, you know, all the stuff that you're going to want on your gear and kind of like your default tool set. I'm not going to get Lunge, I'm not going to get any of the hammer enchants or the crossbow enchants. I think I'm going to get Power and Infinity though. So just, you know, a couple enchants set up so that I can replenish my gear pretty quick and easily in case I lose it somewhere in lava. If you're still here, thanks for hanging out. This little cat right here is going to need a name. She is going to be the library cat. She's going to live here in the library, and I actually had a subscriber, I was talking to him in the comments of a short, I believe, and they suggested some names for the cat that I had with me in the Woodland Mansion. So we're gonna name that cat here in a little bit, and I think next should be the library cat. So if you have ideas or suggestions for the cat's name, just go ahead and put them down in the comments. And if we get too many, we can vote. If I just get one or two, I'll probably just make a choice. Whatever I think kind of fits the theme, you know. It was about at this point that I realized I need to just sort these guys out into little trading stalls for now. I want to do something more friendly, I guess, and let them kind of have some space to move around, but not all collect together, because that makes it really hard to get the trades that you want. But similar to how I had the farmer villagers over there able to move around, and the toolsmiths and the forge guys in the forge, they can move around. I want these guys to be able to move around eventually, but they kept getting all bunched up by the minecart. Several of them hopped into the minecart and then rode it all the way back to the river, basically, and then had it come all the way back out with them. So I needed to start kind of getting them separated off so I could work and get this finished. Where are you going there, buddy? Oh, I guess he's gone now. When I finally headed back to collect my librarians that were intermingled in with my farmers, they have my Silk Touch and Sharpness enchants already, so I knew I wanted to just move them over. But in getting all that set up with the rails, you know, we had some fun little moments happen where they started to almost say goodbye to the librarians as the librarians were loaded into minecarts and about to be, you know, launched across the island. So it was kind of fun. All right, there he is. That's the hero of the Woodland Mansion right there. And we've got a name tag made for him, Mooney. Hey, you can sit on the bed, Mooney. That can be your spot, right there on the bed. You deserve it. Also, we've had more of these guys break out. When one of them seizes up in there, like this guy down here, they can then jump on him like he's a full block and step out. So I've started to remedy that over here. I got about 4 in each of these cells, and then I just put some copper trapdoors, kind of go with the general theme of the room, you know. Keep them all in there. One of these has 5 in it. Is it you? No? I think it's this one has 5 in it. I had one sneak in on me while I was trying to get the trapdoors laid down, because they can also climb from out here up on top of the hopper and then on up. So we're on top of that one apparently. Yes, thank you for showing me how you all escaped. But I just gotta wait for the ones on the outside to all fully oxidize, and then I can just break them, put them back in, put trapdoors on top, and go from there. I did find something out that hoppers count. You can jump on a hopper. You can jump onto that little lip right there, that 1 pixel lip, at least if there's a chest on top of it. So that can get me in and out. And that's fun. I, I, I do have some ideas for this space down here. I'm not sure that that's what I want to work on next though. But come back over here. We got Mooney on the bed. Comfy, cozy, and safe. You deserve your retirement. Thanks for hanging out. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And leave a comment below for a name for the Siamese cat that's the library cat. And if there's something else, I've forgotten it. So take care. Have a good one.